Hey everybody, my name is Mannequin and welcome back to Remixing from Scratch. I'm recording this one right after I recorded the previous episode, so if you guys commented on anything, then I didn't get that until now, just because I kind of figured I had some time today, so I do 2 episodes of this. Let me save the project really quick because I was messing around it before in the previous episode. But okay, so now the question is, what do we want to do? Because I'm going to make this 3 sections long for the drop. I'm not going to focus on having a long drop for this track, just because A, I don't want to spend too long on this track, and B, this track is more suited for a nice break. So, so this track is going to be a break track. It's a break for me. Okay, anyway, so I definitely know that I want to copy all this stuff over here. I think that's where I'd put it. Yeah, I think that's right. Okay, so that is the right spot for it, I think. And then we'll just copy. Actually, we only need half of this. Whoops. Half of this here. And copy it over. And that should be... Maybe I'm 1 kick short. Nope, that's good. Okay, so we have 3 sections here. And then I don't remember what that... Oh, this is a noise drop, that's right. Okay, now what I would like to do with this part is actually I'm going to add one thing. I am going to duplicate this one just because I can. Make sure the compressor is sidechained. And then I'm going to run these ones in the background and do something that's almost opposite of what I have. So right now I have a nice noise drop. So these ones are going to be opposite. So that means I want it to do... Okay, I don't want to mess with the cutoff. So I'm just going to set this to max. And then, so this way it stays like this. And then I'm going to take what used to be the decay here. And I'm going to pull that down, pull that up, and pull this up. Okay, so that's what I want, and then turn down the volume drastically. So it kind of goes like this. Now, the one thing that you're noticing is that it kind of sounds weird. Part of the reason is it's still too loud. So I'm going to turn this down the volume here because this has a much bigger effect on the volume. And then I'm going to actually turn off the chorus because I'm not liking the chorus on this right now. There we go. And then going to roll off a bit more of the high end. There we go. So this is basically just background noise. And it's something that's used quite a bit. I think I've talked about it before. You just run white noise in the background. It makes things sound louder and fuller. And yeah. One of the tricks that's used, it's kind of a cheap trick, and it's a trick we use. It's a cheap trick. Okay, so it works though, so that's part of the reason I'm using it. So I'm going to turn on the filter here because actually let me turn it off first just to show you guys. When you have this going along with a kick, it doesn't sound like a regular side-chained white noise sweep. So. It kind of sounds off, so I'm going to turn the filter on, make it high pass. Turn on threshold. I should turn on the graph to see what I'm doing here. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so that's a much better side change. So what I did is I did what I think I've showed you a couple times, but in case you forgot, I set the filter to on, turn it to high pass so that we're not getting all the body of the kick drum. We're just getting that first click of the kick drum and then a little bit of the punch. And then I just turned this to somewhere where it sounded good. This happened to be almost 1 kilohertz, which would be on an EQ space. Whoops, that's not EQ. EQ, here we go. It would be about right there. So we're pretty much just getting high-end stuff. Tiny bit of mids, but typically I actually bring it down to around 500. So you get a little bit more of the punch that you're processing, but it's no big deal. It sounds good right now, so that's what we want. And then I could just unsolo all this, and you could kind of hear what I did there. So you could actually just barely hear it, and all it really does is just kind of give it just a little bit more fill there. So that's one of the things it was kind of getting on my nerves. At some points it kind of sounded thin, so I added that. So now we could copy. Actually, I'm just going to copy this one. I'm not going to... Whoops, that didn't copy it. Okay, I'm not going to copy this one because we've already used the noise sweep twice, and it'd be really annoying if we did it a third time. So now the question is, how are we going to make the third part unique? And then I think the answer to this would... Oops, we're already using these, actually. I was going to say we could add some hi-hats and stuff, but it seems we're already using that. So I think to give it some perspective, I'm going to play it back from the beginning, and as dumb as this sounds, yes, that actually can help. So I'm going to play it back from the beginning, and it might actually inspire me as to what I will do for this final part here. And then we're going to actually just drop down back into the break, and then we're going to copy a lot of stuff. So that's essentially what's going to happen for the next couple of episodes. But for now, let's just play it back here and see if I can get any more inspiration so I could get some right here just to kind of make it a unique part. So actually, I will want to copy this, though. I think what I'll do for this part actually is I'll... copy these. That starts there, which would mean that I need to start that there. Copy all that, and then I remember I added something in between here. Which one was it? It was this one. Okay, so if I delete this one and then drag this one out here, back to the beginning. Sweet. So that's the one that, remember when I first got this one and added the new thing because it glitched up and all. That's how it was before, and then I added one more thing in between. So just so we have some vocals there, and so that I remember that one and I don't forget it. Okay, so save this, and then we'll listen from the beginning and see if we could get some inspiration here. I'm going to mute this, though, so we could kind of do this. Static electricity, your touch moving to the sound. Your lips are all I need. When the music comes around, you bring up the energy and never bring it down. I wasn't sure of destiny until you came around. Whoops. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I offset this a little bit too much. Need to start there. Oh. Which means that this also needs to start here. And this one needs to trim. Sweet. Okay. Okay, so part of the reason is we lost these hats we had going too. So obviously I didn't copy enough. Okay, I think... I think my song structure is actually a little short right now. But I'm not sure if I want to do... Okay, so how many bars is this? 1, 2, 3, 4... That's only 4 bars. Oh, that's part of the problem. Because I think typically you're supposed to have each section run 8 bars, and then you're supposed to do like 3 8-bar sections. So it would be, instead of 4, 8, 12, you'd have, 24 or something like that. So it'd be 4, you do like, basically you run this twice, and then you'd run the next section twice this length, and the next section twice this length. But I don't think I want to do that right now, just because if I the way I'd have to redo all the vocal chops because they're structured to only be 4 bars, not 8. So, and if I wanted to extend that, I couldn't just like add more afterwards, because the way it's built right now, you kind of expect this to be the end of the segment. So let's see if I could come up with any ideas here.
We're running out of time.
Okay, so let's try this. We'll move this down sweep over here, and we won't start the hats until here. We'll try this. Okay, so I think part of the problem is here, I'm not liking the way we have this right in the beginning. So I'm going to move that there. Don't move. Delete this. Move this over here. Don't copy because it's already good. Pull that there. And then move this back in the spot here. So that way we're, because I don't want this little... I don't want that in this sparse of an area. I think what we could do is we could actually take this fill and make, I think if I could double up one thing here, then I might get it too. Okay, so I have this snare that's the big. If I take this. Oh! That would be why. It's got like this double sound. Is it routed through a delay or something? Sounds like it is. Is that everything here? Nope, it's just this one. So. Nope. Nope. Let's see if I can get this right. Oh, of course, part of the problem is that I still have it in that second half anyway, so I can't really fix it. Let's see here. Okay, I got an idea. So what I want to do with this one here is I want this one to not be affected by the space designer. And then I'm just gonna like have it really punchy and fast. So let's fade this out here. Because the fill works if you bring it in the hats right after it, but right now as it is, it doesn't really work because the tail of the stuff. So this would be, let's see, pull it back. I have a Actually, let's turn off the space designer and see what happens. That's kind of cool. I forgot it sounded like that. Okay, so I think what I'll do here is I'll take the space designer and turn it down so we have just a little bit of it. And then we'll get this little piece here because I like the way this one sounded. And we're going to do this. Duplicate. Take that there. This one, we're going to distort the snot out of. Actually, first, before we distort it, we need to get rid of the low end because that'll kill it. So we just have the high end here. And it sounds like this. Sweet. And then we get the distortion. We'll just use overdrive. Not overdrive, distortion. And then tone all the way up. And then... There we go. So basically we took out a lot of the punch there. Let's see if I can... Yeah, here we go. It's just kind of like the... Basically almost white noise. Well, that one's still got punch. So, and then the idea here is we might be able to, depending on how we tweak this, might be able to get this to sound fuller. Oh, I know what we need to do. Ha ha ha, stupid me. Okay, so what we need to do here is part of the reason it doesn't sound full is because we have not set it in stereo. So sample delay as usual to make things in stereo, and then drag both sides over to our nice and handy make it stereo settings. There we go. And then we listen to what it sounds like. And sweet. Now if I turn down the sun, that might fix the... Okay, now I just need to adjust the reverb to get it so it sits just right. Okay, so the way I'm going to do this is just loop this, solo this, and kind of get it to the point to where we're not hearing the reverb, but it's kind of like accentuating it. Now, you can't hear it right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to EQ this reverb, see if I could get that hollow part out, and then we'll just use that. So it's like right there. My guess was right. Then we'll pull it right, cut that out. So that way we could have more reverb on it, but at the same time, since we're EQing out that hollow part, it doesn't sound like it's drowned in reverb. So we'll see how this sounds in the mix. So we're bringing the noise sweep back just because we're kind of, it's fitting in there too well. So we're kind of expecting it each time, although I can turn it down in volume here so it becomes a little bit less prominent. Now, what I could do here... Hold up. Okay, so I could get this. Make sure the tremolo is not hanging off. Okay, so it basically just needs to go till there. So we'll bring this here. So I'm not having the tremolo affect it. Okay, and then okay, so what do we have that we cut out? Normally with this break or this fill, we cut out that. So I think I'll do the same here. Cut it out to the line, and then same thing as this one. Just bring it, actually, and we'll leave it and see what happens. Okay, so then what I want to get here is like some really quick vocal chops. So we'll get that one. Put it somewhere. Don't copy. Solo. So just a clip there. And then we'll put it back in this one. And I want the A there. So copy this over. Don't copy that. Okay, solo this to make sure I'm getting the right part. There we go. And then drag this back over. And then I think I need one more spot. All I need. Oh, that actually sounded good. Ooh, I've got a really good idea now, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, duplicate this, call it short chops, because I want to, yeah, go away. I want to take these, drop them down here, and I want to make this type of flex time different from what I had before. So these are not flexed, so we don't have to worry about it. So I could actually turn off the flex time there, switch this to speed effects, and then of course I need to take this compressor and make sure it's doing the side chaining. Thank you, Logic. And wait. I've got an idea. Oh, okay. Grab this one. Don't copy. Take this over here. I'm gonna need to mute this so I remember what I thought. Okay, so what I need, so that means this one needs to go here. Unmute it. Make it about the same length. Now this one needs to be higher pitched. So if I flex it now, since I set it to speed, there we go. It pitches stuff up and down when I shorten and lengthen it. And then I could do this. Nope. That didn't work. I need one more clip. Let's see. I knew which one I wanted before, but now I've forgotten. Okay, so we're gonna do this one. This is what it was. I just wanted to copy this one. Right here. Here we go, and then we're just gonna bring it a little bit out. There we go. That is vocal chopping, my friends. That's what I was doing before was not vocal chopping. I was just messing with vocals. This is vocal chopping. So this is gonna need to be a lot louder. So actually, what volume do we have these at? These are all at different volumes. So that's 9.4. This one's 11.6, 9.4, 9.4. So most of them are 9.4, except for that one. So I could actually get these. I could just manually increase the gain on these. So take these, bring them up to there, and take this one and bring it up to there. And then obviously we're still going to need to balance this. So this one needs to be turned down. Gain. I should have just like threw a gain plugin on and pulled up a gain. And I can actually extend this too. That's what I want. There we go. And then I can actually fade this one out too. So that it gets a little bit smoother there. Can I pull this one out longer? Let's drop this right here and then just make the fade out shorter so that it's less obtrusive. And this one still needs to be turned down. 11, there we go. What is your problem? How much do you need me to turn you down? Goodness. There we go. That's more like it. Actually, I need to turn it just a tiny bit up now. There we go. Should be right. There we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to slap... why slap a gain on when you could just use the makeup gain on the compressor? That's what we'll do. Now, actually, what I might want to do is... let's try turning off the compressor. See what it sounds like without sidechaining. Okay, so first of all, since the compressor's not squashing anymore, that first one gets really loud. Okay, so let's listen here. And then what we could do is the same thing here. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this for 3, 4, 5. Should I run it for 4, 5, or 6? I think I might actually run this for 6. So just like have 6 shorter sections instead of 3 longer sections. But let me listen to it one more time, see if there's anything I do really quick before I wrap this episode up, because I know I've gone pretty long here. So okay, there's one thing I want to do really quick. It's not actually by way of what I could do here, but I do want to add some delay on this just because it'll sound beautiful. Question is how much and what type? We're probably just going to slap on stereo delay if it'll go, right? Delay, stereo delay. There we go. Okay, and then set these, because that's too much delay. We'll set these to 15%. And then I'm going to actually set this to the same speed, but just offset a tiny bit. Actually, I should make it longer, if anything. There we go. So, why does it sound the left side goes longer than the right side? I hate it when it does that. I think maybe we'll just stick it to 10. There we go. So it kind of just... Nah, 15 was good. 15 is a lot more delay. You can actually hear it. So, and I kind of like that sound for this part. So we'll go back, listen to this. Now, one thing to notice that I want to talk about before I wrap this up is what I did here actually is very, very, it makes a very drastic roll in order of things. So what I could do here is I could actually pull this delay before the compressor, or I could leave it after the compressor. Now, what it does right now, if I leave it as is, what happens is you have the vocals that are side chained and kind of squished in two places. So since we have a kick here and we have a kick here, it'll be squished here, and basically the volume will kind of go from here to here, and then from here to here. And then what'll happen is the delay will catch that volume, and it'll be unaffected. The delay won't be squished by the compressor, but at the same time it'll copy that effect previously and just kind of offset it. So what you get is this sound. So you kind of get actually I'll just play it back with the kick drum. Do I have a ghost running? Nah, I don't. Let's go. So you kind of heard that you get that delay sound, but it doesn't really follow the compressor. So if I put this before the compressor now, it doesn't have as much of a delay characteristic. It kind of just sounds like it's more. It almost sounds like there's just more reverb almost. So if I drop this back on this end here, like I showed you before, slide everything back up. You get a lot more of that delay sound, and I actually want that for this. You might not be wanting that, so just keep in mind, order does matter for your plugins. Sometimes it matters more than other times. Like for instance, if I put tremolo and then my compressor, that doesn't really matter because they're both affecting just the volume of the entire thing. But in the case of delay, it does actually take the volume of this into account because it's just copying the previous signal, and then it's repeating it at a different time. So if you don't have your compressor on top of your delay, that would be why you're not getting the delay squished by the compressor. So yeah, order does matter, and most of the time I don't bother talking about it because I actually know what order to throw things in, and I don't really mention why I throw things in that order. But I can go over. I'm just going to go over briefly the typical order you want to do two things that I've heard that is just, you could just kind of do it. Typically you do EQ and then compression. Don't ask me why. I don't know why, but that's one of the things that everyone says that you should do in that order. So I just follow that. Like you can see, I actually didn't do it here, so it kind of shows you how it doesn't really matter. But the way to just keep things in mind is it goes from top to bottom. So you got to know what you're doing before you just slap something on and expect it to do something exactly how you want it to do. So like for instance, you can have a reverb and then a distortion, and then you'll get a completely different sound from having a distortion and then a reverb. Because what happens if I move this space designer up above the overdrive, it'll distort the reverb of the original sound, which will give us a different sound than if we use reverb on the distorted sound. Confusing? Just think about it. Try switching things around and you'll see what I mean. You'll actually get the distortion of the reverb part, and it typically sounds nasty when you distort reverb. I've done some reverb distortion, but I typically, if I do that, I take the EQ and I cut out all the low end and I only distort the high end. But that's on a rare occasion, a very rare occasion that I'll do that. Yeah, the order does matter. You just have to keep it in mind. I don't think I've ever talked about that in any of my videos. But yeah, so good thing to know. I need to wrap this up here. I've probably been spending way too long in this episode. Whenever I say that, it actually typically the episode has hit 24 minutes. This one might be a bit longer. I haven't checked. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you like this video, and I'm really liking how this is actually turning out now. It's sounding pretty cool. Not just sounding like a drop that works. So I'm really glad that I was able to get inspired for this. And like I said, I really like your suggestions and everything for this track. And some people did actually mention that they wanted to see me do a trance remix. And that is something I'm totally game for. And I think the next track that I do a remix for, I'm going to specifically do a trance remix. One of the cool things about that is typically you could find dubstep vocals at the same speed as a trance track, and you could take those vocals and turn it into a trance track because, there's like a remix competition going on. They upload the vocals. But anyway, I'm talking way too fast there. But essentially, I could take dubstep vocals and then turn it into a trance track, and that gives a really cool flavor because typically female dubstep vocals can get really nice during the dubstep breaks, and then during the drops they'll just get crazy, and when you throw that same vocal into trance, it sounds really awesome. So that's something I'm totally game to do, and I will do it in the next season of remixing from scratch here. But for now, as I wrap up this one, I'm going to stay in this style and kind of finish up this one. But I am, like, my favorite part by far was when I just decided, hey, let's do this little vocal chop thing here. And I'm a sucker for this type of, like, man, when I hear that in Cruella's tracks, that really just like sends a chill down my spine. One of my favorite things there. So anyway, rambling again. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.